Hello, my name is Chef Lucien, and today on our menu we're going to be working on a breakfast item, a Western omelet with some caramelized onion, some mushroom. We're also going to be using some yellow pepper for a garnish. So first thing we're going to do is work on our prep work, our knife skills. We're going to need to chop down our mushrooms and our onion. So we're just going to give our mushrooms a rough chop. They don't have to be super pretty because they're going to be going inside of our omelet. If you were doing this in a sauce or something that's a little more visible, you want to make sure that your dices are a bit more of an even size. So we're just going to give this a rough chop. Going to rotate our board. You can grab a handful, rotate that 90 degrees, and come across one more time with our knife to give us our squares. And we're going to chop our onion down the same way. We'll go a little bit over our knife skills at that point. We're going to get this into our bowl. Our onions and our mushrooms are going to share the same bowl because they'll be cooking together. And so a little bit of tips for our knife work. We want to make sure we use a pinch grip on our knife. We're going to pinch right here at the hilt where the blade and the handle come together. You can see there is a bump here that's referred to as the hilt. That's where we're going to pinch, and then our other three fingers are going to come around. Also, when we're using our knife, we're going to make sure we're using a slicing motion. Sometimes you want to use just a chop up and down, but really a knife, you need a slice to be able to properly use your sharp edge. So we're going to do a choo-choo train motion. So we're going to slide forward and down, and then drag our knife back, forward and down, drag our knife back. So it kind of looks like a choo-choo. So at first, that's just kind of some basic knife skills. We're going to be doing something a little bit different with our onion. We want a nice small dice. So first we're going to take some horizontal cuts, then some vertical cuts, and then we can go in and choo-choo get our small dice. So we're going to watch our fingers here. Anytime you're doing anything with your hands, you want to use a claw grip so we keep our fingers safe. You don't want your fingers out, you want your fingers in. That's going to protect them, and same thing, you can use your knuckles as a little bit of a guide. But to get our nice small dice on our onion, we're going to go ahead and get some horizontal cuts. So fingers on top. We're just going to chop across. You can use your palm, but just be careful, squeeze that in. All right, and again, we want to use our slicing motion. For our vertical cuts, we're going to stab in. We want to make sure we're not cutting through our last bit of our onion. That's going to help keep everything together so it's not falling apart as we do our small dice. And we're going to chop in with our tip and then drag your knife out. You can chop down and drag out. There we go. So now we have our vertical cuts and horizontal cuts. Now we can come back across, get our small dice. So here's where we're going to use our choo-choo train technique. Slide forward and down, drag back. Slide forward and down, drag back. Also, you see my hands, their fingers are tucked in. Slide forward and back. Go. And that's going to give us our small dice for our onion. We're going to put that in with our mushroom. Again, all that's going to get put together. We have one more piece of prep work. We're going to be using a yellow bell pepper for our garnish. So we've already halved this, but we're going to go ahead and clean it out. We want to cut off the green part and any excess white part that we see inside of the bell pepper. As you can see, there's a white vein in here. We're going to break this down just a little bit more. We want to get rid of that. Okay, and we're going to get a small slice on this. So we want as small as possible, and we're going to slice this with the rough part up. If we try to cut through the shiny part, it's going to be a little harder for the knife. We're not going to get as exact smaller cuts. And if you need to break this down a little bit more so you can get a nice flat piece, we can go through there. We just want nice, super thin cuts that we can use as a garnish. And if your knife work isn't quite there, you can also always use a